Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you are an IT administrator, you already know that deploying a brand new phone system can sometimes feel a bit like trying to defuse a bomb while completely blindfolded. But today, we are taking the blindfold off. We've got a comprehensive training guide on registering an IP phone and analog gateway, REX IPPBX. By the end of this explainer, you are going to have a rock-solid, fully scalable foundation for seamlessly integrating your hardware right into a Redstone system.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a really solid roadmap today. Hardware setup, defining IP extensions, bulk configuration, registering IP phones, analog gateway integration, and finally, routing and verification. We're taking a crawl, walk, run approach here, so let's get right to it.
First up, Section 1, Hardware Setup. We've got to get physically connected before we can even think about touching the web interface. Look, before any software magic can actually happen, the plumbing just has to be right. You know the drill. Grab your standard Cat5 cables, hook that IP phone directly to your LAN switch to get it on the network. From there, you can actually daisy chain your PC straight to the phone's secondary port. Keeps the desk looking nice and clean. Then snap in the power adapter, unless of course you're running power over Ethernet, and once those lights start blinking, well, we are ready to talk to the PBX.
Moving right along to Section 2, Defining IP Extensions. This is where we set up our very first single extension. So jumping into the REX IP PBX web GUI, just head over to the Extension tab up top and grab IP from the submenu. To spin up a single user, hit that Add IP Phone button. Now pay close attention to these three fields: number, password, and PIN. Let's say we set the number to 100 and pop in a secure password. Now here's a really cool built-in security feature. By default, these new IP extensions are totally locked down to making internal calls only. If you want to grant external calling privileges, you actively have to change those security credentials, meaning the PIN and password, away from their default settings. It's just a super smart way the Redstone system protects your network right out of the box.
All right, Section 3, Bulk Configuration. Because sure, a manual process is fine for a handful of phones, but what if you're deploying 50 or 500?
Instead of adding phones one by one, we use batch adding. This tool is an absolute lifesaver. You literally just set your starting line, punch in your first extension number. Let's go with 8001 and type in the total quantity you need, say 32. Bam! The system instantly generates secure passwords for every single one of them. You can even assign a trusted IP address for authentication, which, pro tip, is highly recommended when you're hooking up gateway products in the REX series. You hit OK, and you've literally just saved yourself hours of mind-numbing data entry.
But wait, it gets there. There's an even more customizable way to handle massive deployments, and it's called Quick Addition Mode. It's just 4 steps. First, you pull down an Excel template straight from the PBX. Second, you fill in your extension info offline, on your own time. Third, copy the valid content from your spreadsheet. And fourth, paste it and hit apply. Let's break down exactly how this works.
All right, so you've downloaded the Excel template. As an admin, having this offline access is huge. You've got columns for the extension number, the specific secure password, PIN, display name, call restrictions, and that absolutely crucial IP address for trusted authentication. Because it's just Excel, you can use formulas to drag and drop thousands of extensions in literally seconds. You get to craft the exact naming conventions and security policies your organization needs, all before you ever even touch the live phone system. Now, to actually find this magical template, just click on the Quick Addition tab right next to where we were earlier. That pops open a dialog box, and boom, right there on the right side is your Excel template download button. This is your ground zero for any big custom rollout. Once your spreadsheet is absolutely perfect, you just highlight the rows, make sure to skip the title header though, copy them, and paste that data straight into the text area of the Quick Addition window. The system parses it in real time and builds a nice clean table out of it. You just hit that blue apply button at the bottom, and just like that, all those extensions are pushed directly to the PBX. They are primed and waiting for their hardware counterparts.
Which brings us to Section 4, Registering IP Phones. Time to shift our focus back to the physical Redstone REP series IP phones to finish off that software-hardware handshake.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how elegant the Redstone system really is. If your network is prepped for it, the phone boots up and prompts you right there on its LCD screen. You physically punch in the exact PIN we just assigned in the PBX using the keypad, hit OK to reboot, and instantly the extension number, like 212 in this case, pops right up in the top left corner of the screen. Handshake complete. No fuss.
Of course, if you're configuring devices remotely, you can register the phone using its own web GUI. Navigate over to VoIP, then SIP, and check out the basic settings. You'll need to manually enter the server address of your PBX, the authentication user, and the authentication password. Now listen up, because I cannot emphasize this enough. These fields must perfectly 100% match what we just set up in the REX PBX. One typo, one extra space, and you get no registration. But once entered correctly, you click Apply, and that status flips right over to Registered.
Okay, Section 5, Analog Gateway Integration. Because pure IP environments are a dream, but the real world is messy. It's full of legacy faxes and older systems. Let's get them integrated.
Jumping into the RGW Gateway's web interface, we basically have to tell it where to find our REX PBX. Under the basic SIP settings, make sure to set the registrar mode to per line. This is key because it gives us granular control over every single analog port. Next, you drop the IP address of your REX PBX into both the registrar server and the proxy server fields. Oh, and don't forget the port number, which is usually 5060. This literally gives the gateway the exact GPS coordinates for the brain of the operation.
So, the crucial point is this. When you're configuring a specific line on the gateway, it's going to ask you for 4 things: the SIP account name, the caller ID text, the auth username, and the registrar password. I'm giving all you admins a massive warning right now. These specific fields must absolutely identically match the REX IP extension we built earlier. Seriously, if even a single character is out of place, the gateway will not register, and you will spend the rest of your afternoon pulling your hair out troubleshooting. Match them perfectly.
To really hammer this home, let's look at the actual line configuration interface for FXS1 on the gateway. You can see exactly where the SIP account name, caller ID text, auth username, and registrar password live. Say we're using extension 217. You punch those matching details in, verify that the registration checkbox is ticked, and hit Save. Boom! That old analog port is now acting like a fully fledged, modern IP extension.
We are in the home stretch. Section 6, Routing and Port Binding. It's time to logically route these calls through the system so traffic actually flows exactly where we want it to go.
If you're bringing in outside analog lines to your PBX using FXO ports, you've got to configure port binding. Over on the gateway's trunk settings, select your FXO port and flip the inbound handle dropdown over to binding. Then just specify the binding number. We'll use 888 here. What this does is effectively grab any call coming in on that physical copper line and slaps an 888 label on it so the PBX knows exactly how to handle it. Now we need some strict routing rules to safely ferry those calls from the legacy analog side over to the IP side. Under the routing table, you write a super simple command. It goes like this: FXS 888 route IP, followed by your PBX's IP address. It's literal instruction. It tells the system, hey, if you see a call labeled 888 coming from the analog side, route it via IP straight over to the PBX. It is incredibly straightforward once you get the syntax. Now let's catch that routed call on the PBX side. We create a virtual IP trunk on the REX by selecting peer trunk and punching in the gateway's IP along with that same 888 number. They are now officially securely linked. Then we define our outbound dialing rules. You can tell the system, okay, if a user dials a prefix of 9, route the call sequentially out the analog trunk. If they dial 7, send it out the IP trunk. You're completely in the driver's seat of your call traffic now. All right, we've tackled the physical wiring, the bulk extensions, the analog integration, and the routing. Prepare yourselves for the absolute most satisfying part of any IT admin's day, verifying that it actually worked. When you navigate to call status on the gateway, seeing those words register success across the board, that means your credentials matched perfectly. And if you pop open the system status logs, you are hunting for that beautiful, glorious phrase, response 200. In the SIP protocol, 200 just means okay. It means flawless communication. Your deployment is officially bulletproof. The hardware is talking to the software, the legacy stuff is talking to the future. So with this incredibly solid, scalable foundation now perfectly set up in your Redstone PBS, what advanced VoIP features are you going to build next?